Hi, I'm Ted Radick with the Findlay Courier Sports Department. I'm here with my cohorts, Dave Hanneman and Michael Burwell, and we are into the second half of the football season as we head to week 6. Dave, you have Findlay and Oregon Clay this week. I have to give the Clay Eagles a little bit of credit. You know, they've been kind of the Paulding of the track here the past few years, and you know, I don't know that I'm ready to call them a top-tier team, but the fact is they are 3-2 with a winning record in the first half and have a league win.
Yes.
What can we expect on Friday?
Well, they've got a real good quarterback, a Waymer kid, who's and these kind of quarterbacks have given Finley trouble. He can run it, he can throw it. He's second in the track and passing, and he is the leading rusher on their team. So Finley's going to have to be aware of his talents. You know, they're not as deep at wide receiver as some of the other teams Finley has faced, but he's a dangerous kind of kid. And Clay is making a transition. They got a new coach. There seems to be a new attitude. They've got 3 wins this year, and they had 3 all of last year, so they've already matched that. And they're starting to think they could win. That's a big difference.
Okay. Michael, you will be at Lipsick and Macomb this week. Well, Macomb hasn't lost a league game yet. They've been kind of flying under the radar a little bit.
Yeah,
what do you think?
They really have. I haven't seen Macomb this year, so looking forward to watching them. They're 4-1, and along with Pandora, they're 3-0 in the BVC. Haven't played nearly as tough a schedule as some of the other teams, but now the second half of the season is getting underway. Macomb's going to start playing some tougher teams. Maybe that was kind of a benefit for them early in the season because they did lose so many players from last year's state semifinal team. Now they're starting to gel a little bit better offensively. They're clicking, so maybe not necessarily a really tough schedule to start the year, but maybe that kind of helped them get ready for the second half.
Yeah, it's kind of odd when you talk about a state semi-finalist from last year flying under the radar this year.
Exactly.
Okay, I will be at Ottawa-Glandorf on Friday as the Titans play Lima Shawnee. And, you know, it's been a rough one for OG. You know, they're on their 4th quarterback, and just hope Daniel Beamer runs wild and they can pick up a win. All right, as we promised last week, we're going to do midterm grades for all of our teams for the first 5 weeks, and let's jump right into it. Michael, the Ada Bulldogs, 3-2 overall, 1-1 Northwest Conference.
And I, grade-wise, I'll give them a B. Beat Delphus Jefferson, which was huge, but the loss to Spencerville last week was really big as well. So.
Okay, I will take Arcadia, 2-3 overall, 1-2 BBC. I'm going to give the Redskins a C+. You know, they won their Super Bowl against Fanloo. This is a team coming off a winless season last year, so they're pointed in the right direction. Dave, Arlington.
Arlington at 1-4, I will give them a C. Great history and tradition. They're down this year, and they played some good teams, but I don't know, when it's Arlington, you expect them to be better than that. I'd say a C.
Okay. Michael, Cary, 4-1 overall, 3-1 Northern 10.
Cary, I'll give them a B+. Obviously, with a new coach, there's some chemistry that they needed to get, and they got off to a good start. The loss to Winford was tough last week, but still off to a great start.
Okay, I get Columbus Grow, 1-4 overall, 1-1 Northwest Conference. The Cavalry is coming with a good freshman class, a good 8th grade class, only 4 seniors for the Bulldogs this year. I got to give them a D. We expect Grove to be better than this. So, Dave, Corey Rawson, 1-4, 1-2 BBC.
I'll give Corey Rawson a C+. The numbers at a small school like that, where they've got so many sports, you got soccer fighting with football for players and stuff. I'm kind of surprised they don't get a little more push in football and stuff. I'm going to settle on a C.
Okay. The Elmwood Royals, Michael, 1-4, 0-2 Northern Buckeye.
I'm going to have to give them a C-. It's just been a tough season for Elmwood. They play a brutal schedule as well, so I'd give them a C-.
All right, I get Findlay High School, 3-2, 2-0 track. How about that? 2-0 track, Dave.
2-0, undefeated in the league.
I'm going to give the Trojans a B-. I think they should have won that week 2 game, but you know, the last couple weeks they beat the teams they're supposed to beat. You know, the schedule's backloaded. We all know that. So we'll see how they go. Dave, you get Fostoria 4-1, 1-1 Northern Buckeye.
I'm going to give Fostoria an A-. They're playing well. Derek Kidwell has them on the rebound and stuff. They got Eastwood this week, which is going to be brutal. But I think these are the games that Derek Kidwell loves because they challenge his team, and this is going to prove to them, here's where you have to be if you want to compete in this league. A-. I think they're doing very well, but they're not the elite team in that league yet.
Yeah, really a success story this year. Michael, Hardin Northern 1-4, 0-2 Northwest Central.
I'm gonna have to give them probably a D+. They got off to a good start with a big, high-scoring win over Arcadia, but tough going since then, and it's just once again just a really young team with low numbers.
Okay, I get Hopewell-Loudon 1-4, 0-3 BBC. I'm going to give the Chieftains a D. We all know they lost their quarterback. They've lost their running back. But you got to do next man up, and their numbers are good enough where they should have at least been able to be competitive. Lakota Raiders, Dave, 3-2, 1-0 in first place in the SBC River.
I'm going to give the Raiders a B+. Sort of the thinking was they were going to lose to an 0-4 Sandusky St. Mary's team because they weren't as tough, didn't play as tough a schedule, and they beat them. So I'm going to give them the credit and give them a B+.
Lipstick Vikings, Michael.
I give them an A-. The huge win over LB. They've picked up some close wins. They know how to win close games. Tough loss last week to Pandora-Gilboa, which might really cost them the BBC, but they're still off to a great start this season, so say A-.
All right, I get Liberty-Benton 4-1, 2-1 BBC. I'm giving the Eagles a B+. Good non-conference schedule that they came out with. Lost that game to Lipstick, which maybe keeps them from getting an A, but the Eagles are right where we expect them to be, pretty much. Dave Macomb 4-1, 3-0 in the league.
I'm going to give them an even A, not a plus, not a minus yet. Like you guys talked about, they may be flying under the radar, but they lost so much to graduation. To be undefeated in the league, 4-1 overall, that's a solid A for me.
All right, Michael Mohawk 5-0, 3-0 Northern 10.
One of two 5-0 teams in our coverage area, and honestly, I'm going to give them a B. They just haven't played many tough teams yet. Hopefully, maybe they can prove me wrong for the second half of the year. They got some tough games coming up, but they got to prove they can beat good teams.
Okay, I'm telling everybody right now, Colonel Crawford is a good football team for being 1-4. I get North Baltimore 3-2, 2-1 BBC. I'm giving the Tigers a B-. They can put up a lot of points, but that 70-something that Pandora hung on them kind of looms large. Dave, Ottawa-Glandorf 1-4, 1-3 Western Buckeye.
Oh, record-wise, you want to give them a low grade and stuff, but I think I'm going to give them a C. I mean, you lose 3 quarterbacks already. You're down to a freshman, and you're not losing average quarterbacks. You lost a quarterback of a second-team All-State. You lost a quarterback that was considered was going to be as good as him, and only a sophomore. They've just been so injury-prone, and I'll give OG a lot of credit, especially Brian Heaps, their defensive coordinator, because they will play great defense on you no matter what the offense loses.
Okay, Michael, Pandora-Gilboa, 5-0. Boy, you get the undefeated.
Yeah,
3-0 BBC.
I definitely give Pandora an A.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt, A or A+, to be honest. They were 3-7 last year. Now all those young kids are grown up, and they're all 2-3-year starters, and they're really shown what kind of last couple years that's really helped them out. And the big win over Lipstick last week, that really
a
gave
lot
them
of juniors on
confidence.
that team too, so they're going to be a handful next year. I get Patrick Henry 2-3, 1-1 Northwest Ohio. Boy, when you go out and you schedule a Marion local, I'm giving the Patriots a B-. They're another team. They lost 18 seniors off of last year's team. They are right where we expect them to be, I think. Dave, Riverdale 3-2, 1-2 BBC.
I'm going to give Riverdale I'm torn between a B- and a C+. one of the bigger schools in the league. They got the numbers. They will win the games they're supposed to win. They're not upsetting any teams or knocking off any teams that they should. And not only that, but they're not taking those teams to the wire. Their losses, I think, have been considerable. A little above Midland.
Okay, Michael, Upper Sandusky, 1-4, 0-2, Northern 10.
Yeah, I'd have to give Upper probably a C minus. Just this is obviously a tough start and a tough schedule so far, and maybe the Rams can turn it around here in the second half of the year.
Okay, I get Van Buren, 3-2, 2-1 BBC. This is another team that I think is right about where we expect them to be. I'm going to give the Black Knights a B minus. Dave, Van Loo, 1-4, 0-3 BBC.
I'm going to give them an A, simply because year after year they keep doing it. They have not canceled any games.
Never, ever.
Ever.
Not once.
Yeah.
And they go out there, basically the smallest school in the state, still doing it. I'll give those kids an A if they go 0-10.
Nobody fights harder.
Nobody fights harder.
All right, be sure and check the Courier.com on Friday night and the Courier on Saturday. And thank you for watching the longest video we've ever made.